Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. It's Miller time.
And now your hosts, Mickey Spagnola, Everson Walls, and Bill Jones.
It is week number 2 of NFL free agency, and you have come to the right place. You have come to the SWBC podcast studios at their beautiful Star in Frisco, where the Dallas Cowboys are putting a Super Bowl team together. Right?
Right.
You said it.
Absolutely.
You said it with your chest.
Is that right?
Don't ask us after you say it with your chest. You didn't need us to confirm anything, Bill.
Well, we're going to confirm it over the course of the next hour here.
You said it already,
putting
Bill.
a Super Bowl team together or not.
Let me write that down.
Yeah. Come on. I like that. Putting a Super Bowl team together. Guys, before we get started, can I please wish my youngest child a happy birthday today. Kia Harrison turned 15. And of my 4 children, she is my favorite.
Oh,
she knows it.
Oh, you made that decision already?
Oh yeah, all of them, and they, you know what, and they all know it too.
Youngest.
Yeah, the baby, and she the meanest one out of all of them. So happy birthday, baby.
Oh, she's bringing
That's
it.
funny because
She's bringing it.
my 3 daughters, my 2 older daughters say that the youngest is my favorite.
Wow, they know it.
Yeah.
They don't even argue about it. It's not no dispute. Everybody knows.
Because the youngest gets away with murder.
Yeah,
That's right. We've given up by the time she comes along.
There I go, baby. I'm a baby right here, baby.
I'm a baby too.
I'm a baby.
Yep. So, all right, we established that right.
there you go.
Huh?
All right.
Well, good.
All right. So we got
Happy birthday to her.
Yeah, happy
Just
birthday.
don't let it
Kia.
change in 3 years, okay?
It might, Bill. it might, Mick. You know what I mean?
You've hit that age.
Yeah. She's 15. She's still number 1. So.
All right.
Oh, those are the challenging years right there.
Yeah, tell me. I'm living it.
Mind of their own.
Yep. It's funny, though, the ones that might, and this is more the relationship with mom, the one that butted heads more with mom at 14 or 15 is closer to mom now at 35.
Because they knew they were wrong about everything. That's what it is. It's maturity and understanding. I knew nothing, right? And that's something you get to a certain age. It's like,
right.
I absolutely was clueless. I was
But
clueless.
at this age, you don't care anymore.
Right.
You have to remember that. You have to remember that.
All right. Well, we care about what's happened in the last week. And the last time we convened, nothing had happened. And there's a whole lot that's happened with your Dallas Cowboys since then. But before we start that, did you take in some Grand Prix racing over the weekend around AT&T Stadium?
I watched some of the what was on
You missed it if you didn't.
the
Okay.
practice stuff
Okay,
on
all right.
Saturday.
It was really a cool event.
Did you go?
Really was.
Yeah.
I was out there on Friday. I wasn't out
Okay.
there yesterday. But the whole setup and everything, and Jerry Jones and Charlotte and the whole gang, they were loving it. And I got to tell you, that I think is going to be, assuming they're going to continue to have it every year, it's going to be a go-to event on the calendar every year.
Yeah, it was crowded. I love the crowds out there. I was actually calling a softball game with Kyle at North Texas, and it was the most unique thing to watch a guy that he loves racing. So he's calling a game and watching racing at the same time. I'm like, dude, I don't know how you're doing this, but he was more dialed into the race than he was the softball game.
And I'm not a race guy, and I don't ever watch racing.
Oh, man.
But it was just cool because you got the track around the AT&T Stadium and Globe Life Field and everything, and it was really neat.
I was like, that's lot number 10.
It looked good on TV.
Yeah, and now with more people will know about it going forward, because this was the first time they ever had it, and the drivers loved it too. Now the road was bumpy, I guess. You can expect that. These are streets.
Randall Mill.
Yeah, exactly.
Bumpy. Really?
And
Good thing they moved up the start time too.
Yeah, because the wind.
See, that was weird yesterday. The
Well,
wind
Oh,
was crazy.
55 miles an hour in our neighborhood.
It would affect these cars.
yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they moved it up,
ground.
and basically, really, the wind hit right when the race ended, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
So
They timed
the
it.
racing guides were looking down. Yeah. So anyway, I want to get that in right off the top. And so March next year, put it on your calendar.
That's what
What's he doing?
No.
I was just doing that.
Now,
Well, who won?
Kirkwood.
Yeah, see, you didn't even tell us who won.
I think it's Kirkwood.
Kyle Kirkwood.
Kirkwood.
All right.
Yeah. The guy
didn't put you on the spot, man.
he toured the Star with my man Kyle Yeomans and
Okay.
went up and had breakfast with him in the Cowboy Club, and he won it.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, that was the key thing.
The
sir.
Cowboy Club.
Yeah.
All right, dude, got it done.
Yep. Okay, so we got one champion walking the hallways to the Star in
do.
Frisco. Now let's work on some more. All right. So where do we start with what's happened in the last week? What are y'all thinking?
Want to start from the beginning or the end and go backwards?
That's a good one.
'Cause
Let's start
it's
from
what's-
okay, just
when we
an
walked out the
overview.
door. What happened after we left?
Rashan Gary trade.
agreed. The trade was agreed to.
Okay.
Right? Wasn't official. As we found out, you got to have a physical before it's physical.
Man.
Oh,
Wow.
Whoa. Hey, that's
I
one of
mean, no, wait. Did you hear that chuckle right there?
That's an evil. Mad science.
He's having an old chuckle on
So,
On some of his expense.
on the Ravens. Oh, come on, man.
so Gary passed his physical, clearly.
Yes. Yes, he did.
So that I mean, I don't know about you guys. We touched on it a little bit. I think that, look, we were looking for the Cowboys in free agency to make some splashes.
Yeah, man.
It may not have been as splashy as you have liked in free agency, but what I think they have done is they have cleared the way to basically get an identity for this defense under Christian Parker, and the moves that they were made were defense heavy.
And they got more moves to make.
Well, they sure handed him the keys to the organization. Did you
Christian
think?
Parker.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Not only with what they signed, but what they ended up trading away, too, by the way.
I thought Gary was a hell of a sign. I really did. I look at it on a little bit higher level than that, because you're looking at a player that can't just do one thing. I look forward to him setting the edge. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
That's something that we want around here. He's going to be our D-Law, right?
Yep.
He's going to be that guy. So as far as I'm concerned, that was a huge sign. That puts us, on the road to having the pieces we need. At least this is the first piece that you would say was a high priority.
He will play the run.
Yes.
And he can do both. He can be on the outside in a 3-4. He can be defensive end in a 4-2-5 nickel.
Okay.
And I thought that was key.
And that's what we're running.
And that's what they're
That's what we're
trying to
gonna be
do.
running.
The other thing is, and I saw a really misleading headline, maybe it was NFL.com, that he took a pay cut. He took $13 million signing bonus that he had no guaranteed money left on his Packers contract. So he got paid $13.2 million and $16 million guaranteed when he had no more guarantees. So the restructure helped out the Cowboys, and it dropped his cap hit from $19.5 million to $5.4 for this year. So
Kind of like the Terrence Steele
yes,
redo.
exactly. Guaranteed money counts. And
Okay.
I would imagine you would agree to that.
Hell yeah.
Because otherwise, if you don't agree to that, then you're on the street looking for employment, probably.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought that was another key part, and he looked happy to be here. I don't know if you saw the picture on DallasCowboys.com.
Interview with Nicole Hutchison as well.
Big grin when he was signing or whatever he had to sign, and
If you got $13 million,
Yeah,
You're grinning.
I see a lot of people frowning.
Grin is coming with you. Yeah.
you went home to mama with $13 million. So yeah, I thought it was significant, and he one of the few people in the NFL over the last 3 years with almost 25 sacks. But he'll play the run.
And that's what I like about it. You got a guy that can do both things. We always criticize Parsons about that. Now he's Green Bay's headache or whatever you want to call it. And now we have the guy that is the most solid in what he does, right?
Yeah.
This is the guy we're looking for.
What was everybody saying when they traded Parsons to Green Bay? Oh, they got Gary you got to worry about, and now Parsons, right?
Basically, what's happening in Green Bay is the same thing that was happening with the Cowboys a year ago. In that, okay, the Cowboys a year ago at this time thought they were signing Micah Parsons, okay, and so they had to let DeMarcus Lawrence go away.
Yeah.
This team was held hostage throughout the offseason because of the Parsons situation, and they weren't able to ever fill that DeMarcus Lawrence. They've tried in the draft with Donovan Ezeraku, but you can't expect a rookie to come in here and do what D-Law had been doing for a decade here right off the bat. I still think Ezeraku can become that. Now he's got a hip issue he's got to deal with getting ready for his second season. But now, so fast forward a year, and the Packers are sitting there with Parsons under contract, and they got to let their D-Law go in Rashan Gary.
No, I mean, that's a great point. And I think right now for the Cowboys, as it relates to depth, they're still in a need there. I mean, Donovan Ezeraku in his first season, he showed flashes. But, you know, for him in his second season, he's going to have to be beyond, right? And can you bet the house on that? You know, or do you continue to get that those veteran guys or even go into the draft to acquire more help? I'm still in the place psychologically where I'm like, look, we hadn't answered the questions about linebacker.
Right.
And maybe the draft is where Christian Parker has his eyes set. And we've talked about a few guys that can obviously, we hope that will fall to 12. But in the interim, I'm like, look, if we can get some, and before we ended the show, I was trying to tell you guys that it was on their wish list. They signed in other places, so I won't talk about them anymore. But at the end of the day, I think you're still sitting there saying, okay, this is a room where we got to get some bodies in here if we're going to be much improved.
Well, I think the key thing is they've at least manned some of their deficiencies in free agency. Yeah. So now you go into the draft, you're not saying, boy, in that first round, I got to have a cornerback. You know, you've brought some guys in. If it lands in your lap, fine, right? If it doesn't, I've got some guys that I can play with. The one thing that they've got to still figure out is if you're going to play a 3-4, I need another linebacker in the middle.
Inside linebacker.
Overshown.
Let me tell you what's available out there real quick.
Yes,
inside
that's
linebacker.
what I was going to say.
Okay, because a bunch of them have signed. Here's what's left. These are guys who were basically full-time starters at inside linebacker last year and who haven't signed yet, who are free agents. Bobby Okereke from the Giants is at the top of the list.
And you talked about him last Monday.
Yep. And going down my list, you've got Bobby Wagner still available, Levante David still available, Akeem Davis-Gaither, who played with Arizona last year, 13 starts as an inside linebacker. Matt Milano from the Bills, 12 starts, who's been had some injury issues the last few years, but when healthy, has really been an impactful player now, going on 32 years old. A lot of those guys are in their 30s, or mid-30s, or going on late 30s with Bobby Wagner. Jermaine Pratt started 16 games with Indianapolis last year. Devin White was a full-time starter in Vegas, as was Elandon Roberts, and that's basically your list.
I think for me, Okereke, once we talked about him last week, he was probably the more intriguing guy for me. You just ask yourself, in the spirit of racing that just happened, how much tread is on the tire of those two guys, Levante David and
Bobby Wagner.
Bobby Wagner.
You know how many tackles he has in his career? He's got exactly, according to NFL.com, 2,000 tackles in his career, Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, and every time someone tries to bury him and says his career is over, all he does is goes out and makes another 100 tackles.
And he started 17 games last year at age 35.
So there's that. But back to something that you said. You were talking about the linebackers in the 3-4, and you played in one of the best 3-4 defenses. You know that these guys, they fit a certain characteristic and mold. You have to be a lot bigger, a lot faster, but also being able to take on that traffic as well. How many of those guys that I've seen in the draft right now, we have Anthony Hill Jr. I'm just going to, come on now.
He's from.
Come on now, that's
He's
alley-oop
Ryan.
getting Ryan.
Ryan Rader.
All right. It's alley-oop for you, man. But then there's a kid out of Missouri.
Alley-oop, Mickey.
The kid out of Missouri.
Oh, Trotter.
Trotter, come on now. From Philadelphia. I'm serving everybody, right?
Ball's up there, man.
So,
Go get it.
I mean, so all of those, I mean, when you were talking about linebackers being a certain 6'3", 260, 250, whatever, these are guys that kind of fit the mold that you were talking about.
So are we going with veterans here? I mean, do you want to wait for the draft for some young guys in the middle? These are some young guys we're talking
I think
about.
you have to cover yourself, even if it's a one-year deal, because think about it, that spot, guys got to know something.
That's the
right?
quarterback. That's the quarterback.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's what you're looking for. Now, I don't know if you trust a green dot on a rookie, even if it's
Sonny Styles?
Even if
Right.
it's Sonny Styles.
Sonny Styles, and you're trading up to get Sonny Styles likely.
Maybe. You never know,
You never know.
right?
I said likely.
But somebody like that.
C.J. Allen from Georgia.
From Georgia, yeah.
Yeah, he's good too.
And he's projected as a mid to late first-round pick.
And they need depth at linebacker if that's what that starts off at. But I think you have to bring somebody in, put the green dot on them, and run your defense.
So what are we looking at?
And I
Those
think
guys,
you mentioned Okereke. I think that he's kind of on their list.
Besides Okereke, who are we talking about here? We know some of the older guys.
Because Levante David, he's deciding whether he's going to play or not, and he's going to play at Tampa Bay if he plays.
Right.
I think Bobby Wagner. Now he does have a history with Schottenheimer in Seattle, but he's got more of a history with Dan Quinn,
yeah,
and so
course.
I think he's going to play. He's going to probably play for Washington.
Yeah.
Other guys that I read off on there, Milano's a guy that I really like.
I didn't know he was injury prone.
He's had injury issues the last couple of years, yeah. But he did start 12 games last year for Buffalo.
Guys, for me, one of the more interesting signings was Kobe Durant, the cornerback.
Yes.
Knowing that he is an outside guy. I know that Reddy Stewart, there was a tender on him.
No, Josh Butler got a tender.
Okay, he got the tender. Okay, but
Reddy Stewart is under contract.
under contract, yes. Okay, so Kobe Durant, he is an outside guy, and we've been talking about Deron Bland and him, his injuries, but also that we believe that he fits more of the slot corner position, which there's obviously been a bigger need. Yeah. But Deron has been very vocal about saying, I'm an outside guy. I've gotten comfortable.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've gotten comfortable on the outside.
Okay.
So,
I hadn't heard that.
So, again, you have situations now. I don't know how that's all plays as far as the competition and where you go there. I guess we'll talk about the safeties and all that here pretty soon. But I thought that was a very interesting signing for Kobe Durant because I don't think he'll go inside to be your nickel.
He's got the size to go inside.
He does.
Meaning he's small.
Right.
And that's what chip on his shoulder because he's like 5'11" or whatever. But the guy during the playoffs had 3 interceptions. 3. And
had 3 interceptions in the regular season, too. Right. He has 2 pick sixes in his career, too. So the Cowboys now have 8 pick sixes in their secondary career with Deron Bland 6 to go along with Kobe Durant.
So, and Thompson can go and play in the slot, right? The safety. He's versatile enough to.
The one that we have.
Jalen Thompson.
And then you got P.J. Locke also.
And Locke also.
Okay.
Which is an interesting story because he was a starter in Denver in 2024.
Thompson.
P.J. Locke.
P.J. Locke. And he needed.
We're all over the lot here.
Yeah.
Cute. After the season was over, he had back surgery. He had a disc problem. And they covered themselves because they weren't sure if he was going to return or not. And they signed Hufanga in free agency. And so when they came back, he was ready to go, but they spent the money on Hufanga, so he ended up being the starter. And Locke only started 3 games in 2025, but he played. I saw an interview or a story. They interviewed his dad, and his dad said, they weren't sure with the surgery if he was going to be able to play again.
Right.
So he played, and
Played 16 games.
the other part about it, he's a big special teams player. And to add a veteran guy, even if he's a backup on special teams, this team needed that because they were not good enough on special teams.
Well, I mean, if you're looking at the slot position, that's the most important position on passing downs, covering the slot. So I don't want to put someone there where you say, well, he can't play the slot. No, we got to have somebody
Thompson's
that know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
Thompson's played it.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys that can play all,
Okay.
he can play deep, he can play run, and he can play in the slot.
That's putting an awful lot on somebody that you really hadn't prioritized, I guess,
Well, they must have because he was one of their early signings.
Okay.
So,
Can't wait
And they
to see that.
prioritized him with his money.
yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Jalen
that.
Thompson.
Can't wait to see
He
that.
got 3 years, 33 million.
36.
All right, let's do it.
Max 36.
Let's do it.
So, all right, got much more to get to. Dive into more of these secondary guys too. There's another thing that I really like about them, and much more to get to as we get started here on Mix Shots, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Thought you were leaving that open.
Hey, Cowboy fans. Keith Davis here, former Cowboys safety.
Keith Davis into the end zone.
You know what separates champions from the rest? Making the right move at the right moment. With blockchain.com, that's never been easier. The Cowboys became America's team by striking bold when it mattered most. Now it's your turn. Invest like your icons with blockchain.com. Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys today to get started and learn more. That's blockchain.com/Cowboys.
Miller Lite, the legendary light beer. The originator, the inventor. If this beer could talk, it'd tell stories about that one time, that night, that one guy, that one gal. Writing a story 50 years long and 50 million friends wide. Because legendary stories start with a light. Here's to 50 years of Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
The National Medal of Honor Museum is now open in Arlington, Texas, just a few blocks from AT&T Stadium. Immersive exhibits and exciting technology allow you to fly a rescue helicopter mission in Vietnam and have conversations with virtual Medal of Honor recipients. Come be inspired by these incredible stories of ordinary Americans who did the extraordinary. Get your tickets at mohmuseum.org.
We've all been there. You hold on to a coupon, hoping to cash it in at the store, but then you forget about it. And suddenly you've got a mountain of useless expired coupons.
Do you think this one's still good? Free milk.
Oh, mate, that expired in 1993.
Dang it.
Fortunately, there are better ways to save money, like by switching to Geico. You could save about $900 on car insurance without ever touching a coupon.
Ooh, how about this one? Half off floppy disks.
Now, you should try a bit of spring cleaning.
It feels good to save big. It feels good to Geico.
Back to Mixed Shots.
Get excited for the most dazzling DCC experience. Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders Live is coming to a theater near you. Witness iconic group and solo performances, enjoy an on-stage Q&A session, and even be a part of a live audition. For dates and tickets, visit DallasCowboysCheerleaders.com/tour.
And we welcome you back here. We welcome you back here to Mix Shots, presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
It's Miller time.
Go ahead.
It's
Very nice.
Mickey time, too, here on
Good
Mix Shots.
job.
Matter of fact, one
The
of
handoff was.
those appearances is at the Windspear in Dallas.
What is that?
The cheerleaders that you just wrote about.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then one in Fort Worth, too.
Okay. Good to know. We were talking about Cowboys' new members of the secondary.
Yes.
And one of the things that I like about them, and I think I talked about it last week, that they needed Everson Walls types in that secondary, and that means
versatility.
Not just not just playmaking ability, but it's between the ears. It's cerebral players. And I think that they have prioritized that, and familiarity with scheme is another thing. In the case of P.J. Locke, especially, and And with Jalen Thompson, too, coached by the Cowboys' new secondary coach, cornerbacks coach Ryan Smith in Arizona. But P.J. Locke was with Christian Parker in Denver. He was first when he signed with Denver as a college free agent out of Texas in 2019. That was Vic Fangio's first year there, so he's in Fangio's system. And then even after Fangio was gone, Parker was still there. And then here the last couple of years as well. And so if you just listen to P.J. Locke in his interview with Nicole Hutchison, I'm like, yeah, that's the guy that I want on my team.
Yeah. It's not just smart guys when it comes to the pass defense. You know, he's talking about players that they know how to coordinate. That's what you need in the secondary. That's the last line of defense right there. You got smart guys back there. That means you're not going to give a bunch of big plays.
That's making sure your teammates are lined up in the right spot. And everything. How many times did we see it last year?
Especially those safeties. Cornerbacks, you go over there, you do your thing. But I think my safeties need to be the most vocal defensively.
And with experience, which is key.
Yeah.
That's how you get the knowledge, right? You don't have a bunch of young guys there, oh, we got to play this guy. We have no other choice, right? And so, yeah, I think they've covered themselves pretty well there.
No, and what I love about it, and based off of just piggybacking off what you just said, was proven guys. You know, proven guys with versatility, as you're talking about, guys that can do more than just one thing, right? And I think that Christian Parker, without even knowing what it's going to actually look like, to have a concept of his defense, you know, this word has been overused, being multiple, guys being able to fit in different places. I mean, and the guys that we still have on the roster that and how they fit into that defense. So, look, I think it's going to be OTAs, training camp, all of those things, man. You're going to start to see, especially a guy like Jalen Thompson and his versatility, how important he's going to be, like you said, really the last line of this defense. And then don't forget, you still have Malik Hooker, who I think – no one's really talked about it. I think even with the safeties that they brought in, Malik Hooker is just one-track minded when it comes down to it, because he realizes that he can flourish in this defense.
Well, I like what they're trying to do in the secondary, but I still want to know what's going on in the slot. That's going to be, to me, the most important position in the secondary, especially we're talking about passing downs. And that's what everybody's going to. You're going to the 3 wide receivers. We got to have that guy in there. I don't know who that's going to be, but we need.
I think they're covering themselves on it with guys that they're signing in free agency who can play in the slot, and
we got our guy. They got to have experience.
Okay,
they got to have experience.
Thompson's got experience. Durant's got experience.
Okay,
and I think that they are in better shape there. And think about
it. Then you get Dylan Thieneman in the draft.
Yeah, come on. Hey, what you call him, the White Rhino? The White Rhino. Jesus. Is that look? I've been waiting to ask you about this, Mickey, because you have been the biggest Sam Williams fan. I'm joking when I say that too.
No, I have been.
Yeah, but Sam Williams.
And I'm still waiting.
So, when you saw that they re-signed Sam to the 1-year, $3 million deal, what did that signify to you from the?
To me, it was depth and taking a low-level chance on him finally figuring it out.
Right,
and it is a base of $2.5 million.
Right. So, we overlook it. He was coming back from a torn ACL last year. So maybe the next year back. Now, for him, if he's playing outside there, now he's athletic enough to stand up outside and big enough to play that outside.
He's athletic enough to be a gunner on punts.
Yeah, right. And the fact that if he just realizes that part of that job is playing the run, he can't just be a designated pass rusher.
Well, this is going to be his second year after that surgery, right?
Yes.
This is the year.
Because last year was his.
This is the year.
Right.
We got to have him.
Right.
We got to have him this year. As strong as he's going to be, this is as strong as he's going to be.
And not only just coming off the injury and second year back from the injury.
Second year back from the injury.
Right.
That makes a big difference.
But it's also, this is his year for his career. that he needs to show something.
Yeah.
I mean, he never, as a second-round draft pick, he never anticipated his second contract is going to be what I just said.
Right.
He was expecting more than that, and the team was expecting more than that too. And now we got a different scheme. But you look at the depth chart at pass rusher, and obviously the Cowboys need more.
Yeah.
Okay, even with Rashan Gary, whatever. But it is interesting when you look at Williams and his athleticism and James Houston as a 6-foot pass rusher in this scheme where even on in the base defense, line them up as an outside pass rusher, that it fits more what they can do than being
with Sam.
I think with both of them.
Okay.
As far as coming off the edge and getting to the quarterback.
Yeah. I think Sam Williams, and not giving him any excuses, when he was drafted out of Ole Miss, he got caught up in the hype of, Micah Parsons. And, oh, you guys look alike. You're twins, And his thirst for sacks also. Now asking him to do something different. And like you said, Bill, this is a prove it kind of year for a young man that's coming off of a major knee surgery. But I think for me, when I look at what his skill set is and how athletic he is, I think he fits this perfectly. And one of the great chances that he'll have if he can shine in that rotation is to, obviously set the edge, but also get after the quarterback.
I just want to know what kind of confidence he has right now.
Boom.
What's he looking like? How does he feel on this leg?
Well, I'll tell you what. Oh, you mean physically?
Physically, yes.
Because I was going to say from a confidence level, he better understand this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're playing for a contract. You're playing to make the team, by the way. So he's got to be able to figure that out, and he can't be a knucklehead off the field. So this is key to him. I can't tell you how many times when the season was starting and I'd go, okay, this is the guy that's got to click, right? He's on the verge, and then he didn't do it. And then the next year I go, okay, I'm doubling down, and then he tore his ACL.
Right.
So now let's see. But at least from a depth standpoint, they got somebody, and as Bill said, very inexpensively.
Okay, a week ago, when we looked at the interior defensive line depth chart on this team, it was like, okay, they've got no need at all because they've got plenty of guys that can play defensive tackle, okay, from Quinnen Williams to Kenny Clark to Osa Digizua to Solomon Thomas to Perry and Winfrey. The list goes on and on.
And now.
Jay Toya or whatever. And now you've traded Osa Digizua for a third-round pick. Mm-hmm. You've traded Solomon Thomas to Tennessee to move up 7 spots in the 7th round. You release Perry and Winfrey. And now when I was dismissing defensive tackles in the draft.
Don't do it.
And now I'm
You're back on that page again?
I'm on that page.
It's on the back. It's all the way on the back of that, though.
It is.
That is weird.
So, but it's funny how you just make a few moves there, and now you got a need at defensive tackle, too.
Well, if you look at it, if you're going to be in a 3-4.
And you have added Otito Ogbonnia.
Right.
Nose tackle.
Who immediately, at this point, is your nose tackle in the 3-4, right?
Based off of his size, he can't go anywhere else.
Right.
But he could flex out too.
But he
can't set the edge. Can he?
He's a big old dude.
Can he come around the corner? Can he?
He's a nose tackle.
But that's what they're looking. It shows you.
He's a nose tackle.
It shows you what they're looking for in up front on this defensive line, and what they're not looking for are the 280-pound defensive tackles, meaning Oso Digizua or Solomon Thomas.
That's what I wrote about on Friday. Size matters in this defense.
Yes.
And if I'm playing a 3-4, those quote-unquote defensive ends are not defensive ends. They're big defensive tackles.
Yeah.
So you got Williams here, Clark here, Otito maybe in the, and then Jay Toya, who, by the way, is still 340 pounds, and he was a 7th-round pick.
So it's Ogbonnia and Toya are your noses.
Yeah. And okay, let's go play. But who's behind those guys?
That's the question.
And they don't.
Yeah, and the 3-4 defense, like I said, man, this defense is going to eat defensive linemen. You're going to have those guys in the rotation. But we talked about this weeks ago, guys, and I was saying it looks like Osa is the odd man out. And a lot of people argue with it. Well, he can play and he can do this, but you knew that size was going to matter in this situation. And obviously, Christian Parker, he's letting you know by the moves that are being made, but now all of a sudden, Bill, like you said, it's scarce because the positions that you've let go, now in free agency, I mean, it's not many 3-4 D tackles left out there. And then you're going to also have to attack this through the draft. So, man, it's still a lot to cover in a very short period of time.
How many picks do we have in the draft?
Eight.
But we just picked up a second.
Well, we picked up a third.
Third, okay.
I believe it's 8 now.
Top 100 picks, you got 3. You got 12, 20, and 92, which was the pick you picked up from San Francisco was number 92 overall.
And then you've got 1 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, and 1 in the 7th that's moved up to the number 2 pick in the 7th with that exchange. So, yeah.
And by the way, I'd like to say this about Solomon Thomas. I mean, he was a Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee from the Cowboys, and what a guy that you want to have on your football team, especially when you consider what this team went through last year, and of course Solomon's background with his sister and. There was a very valuable year that Solomon spent here, and I think that the Cowboys did him justice and did him well by moving him to Tennessee. And I think it shows what kind of respect that the Cowboys have for Solomon Thomas, where he now hooks back up with Aaron Whitecotton and Robert Saleh, who he's played for before. And so that was simply a move of we're taking care of Solomon because he's a guy that you want to take care of.
And at those 2 positions, they went from 280 pounds, if you're going to play a 3-4, to 310 pounds.
Right.
That's the difference because those defensive ends, it's a misnomer. They're not defensive ends, right? They're just the outside guys from the nose tackle. Mm-hmm. Then you got to have the versatile linebackers to play in that 3-4. But this reinforces that, I think I said it earlier, they've given the keys to this place to Christian Parker because he's designing this what he wants up front, and he wants bigger guys. And so, okay, here you go. But again, you still have to, and the bigger guys, Williams, along with Clark, can play on a nickel as 2 defensive tackles and provide pass rush, but bigger size. So that's what they've achieved, and they're trusting his evaluation of guys up front now, what he wants to do.
Well, he's seen some of the best defensive ends in football. From what he was just coaching. So I don't know if he'll have that kind of talent, up and down the line. Because that was
Jordan Davis and Kevin Carter.
They better go raid Georgia's locker room. Because, you had
look for Georgia players.
You had the luxury. You had a big luxury there with just those 2 guys on that line.
But you still got Quentin Williams.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt about it. Yeah. No, there's no doubt about it. But a lot more went with that Philadelphia team than just what was on that defense.
That's why
Georgia defensive tackle Kristen Miller. Okay, put him on your radar.
Really?
In the draft.
Okay, well, what's he
projected
to go?
6'4", 321 pounds.
I love him already.
All right.
I love him already. You speaking my language. Big and ready.
Daniel Jeremiah's got him ranked as the 41st player on his top 50. And so...
Yeah, and Mickey, for me, man, coming off of last season, you was obviously stating the obvious. You're so bad on defense. You're going to have to get rid of players. We talked about that, Everson. You were talking about packaging up 5 or 6 guys to get new players in here to make this defense better. And that was even before they moved off of Eberflus. You knew you were going to have to make wholesale changes. And so I'm just appreciating the fact that that's been recognized and they're not going off of hope. I hope this guy gets better. No, I'm not going to even wait for this guy to get better.
We don't have time, man.
He doesn't fit our system. Let's go ahead and get him out of here, and let's find a guy that we know that can play. And all of the great things that we say about guys, I mean, we lost some high-character players in Solomon Thomas and Osa Odighizuwa.
Right.
But how do you replace that with guys that can absolutely help you in this scheme? Right? We know what's going to be asked of a player in this 3-4 defense. And so, again, the rotation that you're going to have to put with Quinn and Williams and Kenny Clark, these guys are going to have to get spelled at some point. And right now, I don't think you believe that you have the depth behind them right now.
So right now we need depth. We need to understand the mixture of veterans versus the draft picks that we're going to have. So, what are we looking at here? We're going to have a group of guys. Is the leadership going to come from the youth, or is the leadership going to come from the veterans that we signed in free agency?
Well, I think what you signed in free agency has to stand out, stand up, take leadership charge. And I think with the off-season workouts, those guys have an opportunity to immerse themselves into this team. Because if you think about it, going into last year, everybody was sitting there waiting for Micah Parsons to come back, right? And he didn't come back. Right. And so now you've got an opportunity in the offseason to step up and do things. And I think that's vitally important for the composure of this.
Whoever it is, they're going to be a newbie, right?
Yeah.
So you're talking about leadership in where now?
Linebacker position.
Okay.
Yeah, Sam and Will.
Overshown's got leadership capabilities,
And he will actually have an off season to develop as a player instead of rehabbing, right?
That's the 2 years that we're always talking about. To me, it's always this 2-year window. The first year after surgery, you just, from what I've seen, what's trending in the NFL these years is the first year coming back, you're not going to be full strength.
And think about him. He came back in November.
Yeah.
Right? November.
Which is crazy.
I said it last week. That Okereke, I think he just fits perfect with what you're talking about. And from the standpoint that it doesn't mean that you can't take a linebacker. It doesn't mean that you can't go get Sonny Styles too, or C.J. Allen or whoever. You at this point, you want to get your team in a position where you can win games before the draft, where you can go out before you even make a pick on draft day. You can win games with your defense, and then you can do whatever you want to in the draft. You don't have to go for need. You don't have to overspend to go get somebody. And there's enough with sub packages and everything. There's plenty of opportunity for a first-round linebacker to get on the field, even if you have a veteran guy like Okereke alongside an Overshown as your inside linebackers. Plenty of opportunities. So.
It dawned on me, and Bill can reinforce this, but the last time they tried to switch from a 4-3 to a 3-4 was in 2005. And they got very fortunate in the draft.
One of the best drafts they ever had.
Right? Because you ended up with DeMarcus Ware, Marcus Spears. So Marcus Spears, one is your defensive slash ends in a 3-4. And then in the fourth round, they had insider information on Chris Canty, who would have been a first-round draft choice. He suffered an eye injury while he was training for the draft.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, well, there's my other defensive end. And then in the seventh round, nobody understood where Jay Ratliff was going to play. Is he a defensive tackle, defensive end? Is he nose tackle? What is he? Well, he ended up being a 4-time Pro Bowler at nose tackle. So all of a sudden, you restructured your defensive front along with bringing in Ware. And to his discontent, they moved Greg Ellis from a defensive end in a 4-3 to an outside linebacker, and he hated it. And he ended up earning his only Pro Bowl out there as a
But he hated it.
But he hated it.
Oh, he hated it.
And by the way, in the second round, they drafted Kevin Burnett out of Tennessee, who, if not for an injury, would have had a long career in the
And he was one of your inside.
And he would be the inside backer.
Man, what a luxury that is. I mean, and then you strike gold like that at pretty much every last one. And
by the way, Marion Barber was in that draft.
That fourth round also, Marion Barber. Yep.
Striking gold. And I think over the last couple of years, one of the complaints has been, man, the draft class not being able to strike gold. It's Osa was what, from 21?
Third round.
Yeah, in 21, that whole draft class is gone now. So I thought that was fair. Being able to strike gold, get guys that, when you talk about DeMarcus Ware, I mean, come on, man, that's Hall of Famer. It's just that book wrote itself.
Nate from Frisco says, will these guys practice and build unity? Unity has a lot to play in this game. Guys, cohesiveness. And that's kind of what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Whoever you bring in, I mean, they're going to be new here.
And you're talking about off season.
Yes. I want this guy to come in and be ready to go.
Part of the program.
Yeah, be a part of the program. So that's good. That's what he's talking
Great
about. Cohesiveness
from Nate and Frisco.
And that's a theme with him, man. Will they practice? You don't want to hear about this guy being on the sidelines and rehab. Is this guy going to be ready to go right away? And look, that's one of those things that's been a bugaboo for us as a team.
Well, the only guy that shouldn't be ready in the offseason is Araku, having had the labrum surgery on his hip. So he's probably going to miss the majority of the offseason. But I don't worry about him. His character, his work ethic, he'll get ready as soon as he can do it. And you shouldn't have anybody defensively holding out for a contract.
I want to ask a question, guys, because we spend a lot of time talking defense. And I hope this will cause a fight on the show. Tyler Smith, our all-pro guard. I'm looking at the depth chart here. They have him listed at left tackle.
Let's turn this into a tease.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
knew that was good. I knew that was good.
Tyler Smith, what to do on the offensive line. When Mick Shots, brought to you by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys, continues in a moment.
The only beer.
Hey, Cowboy fans, if you're thinking about attending a game this season, visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today. Stay at the team hotel, have dinner with a Cowboys legend, and experience the best sports venue in the world, AT&T Stadium. Also, tour the Star, get autographs from your favorite players, and talk X's and O's with me, Mickey Spagnola. The official travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys will take care of all your travel needs. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your package today.
We all do it. You keep singing the wrong lyrics to a song, even though you know they're wrong. You stick with them.
So, what you're saying is, it's I love you, babe, and not lasagna, babe?
Reminds me of how people might be sticking with the wrong insurers. But switching to Geico can get you the right coverage for the right price.
Oh, man. This whole time, I thought Fire in My Heart was referencing the heartburn from the lasagna.
I hate to break it to you, mate.
It feels good to get it right. It feels good to Geico.
Hey, Cowboy fans. Keith Davis here, former Cowboys safety.
Keith Davis into the end zone.
You know what separates champions from the rest? Making the right move at the right moment. With blockchain.com, that's never been easier. The Cowboys became America's team by striking bold when it mattered most. Now it's your turn. Invest like your icons with blockchain.com. Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys today to get started and learn more. That's blockchain.com/Cowboys.
Miller Lite, the legendary light beer. The originator, the inventor. If this beer could talk, it'd tell stories about that one time, that night, that one guy, that one gal. Writing a story 50 years long and 50 million friends wide. Because legendary stories start with a light. Here's to 50 years of Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Back to Mick Shots.
This summer, train where stars are made at Dallas Cowboys youth football and dance camps. Athletes of all skill levels, ages 6 to 16, are invited to learn from former NFL players and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Step onto the field and practice like the pros. Register before May 15th to save $25. Visit DallasCowboys.com/camps to register.
And now we welcome you back to Mick Shots, presented by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys.
Boy, that was like the dog.
It's Miller time.
Wishbone, baby.
What a handoff. What a handoff.
That was smooth.
Hey.
That was smooth.
Oh, you didn't pull it at the last minute.
One of these days you could do that.
That's right.
Okay? You could fake the handoff, keep, and then you can do the read.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right.
J.C. Watts would do that.
Or trust Bill memorize because he memorizes everything else.
All right. Did I remember what we teased? Yes, I did.
Yeah, we went to the other side of the ball.
And the offensive line.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Heckma?
Look, here's what I'm saying. I know that going into the draft, or the Cowboys have hit this position many times, and they've hit pay dirt plenty of times at the offensive line position. But for me, with the questions that you have still with Tyler Guyton, performance, injuries, all of those things, we've been teasing it over the years. This kind of goes back to when we had Micah, and whether he's an edge, whether he's a linebacker, we toyed with it for years. And look, you re-sign Terrence Steele, you shore up, basically you keep him, but staying status quo on this offensive line, especially with where Dak Prescott is in his career, is that the best thing? They go out, they sign a guy, Matt Hennessy, in center, guard, flex, whatever he's going to be.
Basically replaces Brock Hoffman.
Okay, and then T.J. Bass. If he's on this roster, he's going to be your guard. So do you feel like by moving him out to, if you do elect to move Tyler Smith out to left tackle, would that be weakening yourself at two positions by doing that? Or do you think you obviously make this offensive line better by making him a left tackle and just making this decision and just saying, look, this is what we're going to do going into the season?
I would think it weakens you at guard. It might improve you at tackle. But I think they've got to see it through in the offseason and the early part of training camp to give Guyton a chance to prove he's improved and can handle that left tackle position.
And with Guyton, it's not just, availability, it's penalties. He's bad on discipline right now. So his youth has been shown to be his weakness almost every time he plays. I like the aggressiveness, but, you can't just go out there, with a knife in your back pocket, This guy, he's coming out there. He's not playing football sometimes. He's coming out there just, he has the aggressiveness. I get that, but it has to be placed justifiably.
Discipline.
Yeah.
I think third year, you're no longer a first-round draft choice. You can't judge him that way where, I spent a first. I got to give him, benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to go. And if you can't, then you have to make that move because that left tackle position is vitally important.
I agree with you.
So many injuries last year in the NFL. And I think most injuries, the most important injuries, came from the offensive line on almost every team. So
Detroit,
depth is
a lot of teams
key here. Yeah. We have they had the offensive lineman third string coming up and practicing and playing.
Fourth or fifth round, I think they got to take an offensive lineman, offensive tackle, right? You got to have a developmental guy.
You have to.
Now, and what do you think of Nate Thomas? Was he in over his head?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have enough experience? Can you still work with him? But I think you have another developmental guy that you got to have. So somewhere in that area, either a defensive tackle or an offensive tackle.
And I completely agree when you say you got to put the fact that he's a first-round draft pick in the rearview mirror in this situation for Tyler Guyton because, look, this is a prove-it situation for him.
Yeah.
They haven't gotten it as far as the production from him. And, Look, I look at Tyler Smith. I love his game. I know coming out of Tulsa, he was a tackle. They moved him inside the guard, and what does he do? He turns that into an all-pro career. And that he's solid there. And, with Tyler Booker and what you have up front, and even Cooper Beebe in the front, you felt like that part of your offensive line that was really strong in the middle. But goodness gracious, what you have to protect Dak Prescott. You got to have it. And if that is even a question in your mind going into the season, you got to make the move. You can't just stay status quo at left tackle.
And even if he earns it, then who's my backup there? Because if it's not Nate Thomas, you don't have it.
We got to have some depth, guys.
Sounds
line.
Sounds like y'all want to draft a first-round left tackle.
No.
And definitely not a guard, right?
Yes.
So it's not that important.
But he better be able to play tackle. Which, by the way, Tyler Smith did his rookie year. What you got?
Do we? Who's the backup quarterback on this team?
I think it's up.
Sam Howell.
It's up for competition.
That was another signing on the offensive side of the football. Sam Howell.
1 year, $2.5 million.
Boy, things got hot around here real quick, didn't it? They got hot.
And he's
real fast.
And he's got 18 starts under his belt.
Really?
Started a
full season Washington.
So at least he's done that. Yeah, I don't think you could sit there and go, okay, well, I traded for this guy. He's my backup. I think Milton's got to step up and show that he's earned that job, not hand it to him.
Backup quarterback is one of those positions that you don't even want to talk about. But then,
you don't even want that person's name to come.
Right, you don't want to. But then when you need it, you want it to be a guy that's quality. And I think we really last season, it was amazing. 17 for Dak, and we didn't have to see Joe Milton thrust into action. But if we do, there's the trust factor there. And I think when they acquired Sam Howell, that's what I said. I'm like, man, that's maybe just a trust factor and insurance policy for the organization.
Does he have a connection here at all with the Cowboys?
I didn't see one.
Uh-huh.
He didn't play at all last year.
He's no one's
he was
brother.
In Philadelphia last year.
Right.
Yeah. But he was in Philly last year.
He was highly touted.
Christian Parker.
Coming out of high school and then at North Carolina, was a full-time starter there for 3 years. And, the thing about Milton is, much like Trey Lance, is he just didn't have very many snaps in college. I mean, he started his career at Michigan and then wound up at Tennessee, won the starting job at Tennessee, then got hurt, whatever. But I went back and looked over the last 5 years, let's say, which includes college as well as the NFL. Sam Howell has 1,117 pass attempts, and Milton has 649. He's got twice as many snaps as what Milton has over the last 5 years. Which counts his 1 year starting in the NFL and then what he did in college. He was a 2-year starter at North Carolina.
It occurred to me last year, had something happened to Dak, say he missed 2 games, would Will Grier been promoted to be the starter, or were they going to trust Milton?
They were going to trust Milton. They were going to trust Milton. They were going to trust Milton. Come on. Grier was good, but I hadn't even seen him play. I mean,
well, he hadn't either.
Even in the offseason, I'm like not impressed.
I know.
So not offseason, but the preseason, I'm not impressed. So
I thought that the Cowboys should have taken one of the late round once those quarterbacks who all had a lot of college starting experience, 6th or 7th round. I thought they should have taken one of them last year in the draft just to have them in the building, whatever, and have them be the third guy. Kind of like what Indianapolis did with Riley Leonard, where they already had Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson, who was the 4th pick in the draft, and now you look at their situation. And actually, Leonard looked pretty good the last couple of games of the year last year, and now Anthony Richardson's on the trade block, and basically Riley Leonard's going to be Daniel Jones' backup.
If Daniel Jones is ready to play.
Yeah, well,
he better be. He just got paid.
Yes. I know, but he's still coming off that torn Achilles.
Right.
Well, that was surprising, man. A guy like Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes,
Is that his name?
Danny Dimes.
Okay.
Yeah, he resurfaced.
And then speaking of quarterbacks, what do you?
Well, you can just give a nickname to anybody.
That's his nickname. That's what his.
I'm not saying you.
Okay.
A person can.
Yeah, Danny
Dimes,
Dimes, man. Hey, we thought he was all done in New York, and now next thing you know, he's resurfaced, and then he's a new man.
How about Kyler Murray? Is Kyler Murray a new man in Minnesota? What do you think, Everson?
I think Kyler's going to take that job.
Yeah,
I really do.
If he doesn't, I'd be shocked. If he does, yeah, I'd be shocked if he didn't take that job. You know, with the weapons that they have, and look, it'd be one of those situations, just like we were talking about Sam Williams. I think they got Kyler Murray's attention by getting cut. I mean, I think probably thought that was the last thing for him. Is he's been a superstar his whole life, and now
he had.
Would you rather play for Minnesota or Arizona?
I'd rather play for Minnesota.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think you have better weapons.
Got this wide receiver out there.
I thought maybe you were going to talking weather.
No.
Yeah, Arizona.
Yeah.
Count me in.
Team that wants to win.
Well, he had Marvin Harrison, guys. Let's not step over Marvin Harrison there.
Yeah.
He made us pay.
When the last time
I like Michael.
Yeah, he had.
Don't you do that. Even when we're talking about Marvin Harrison, he baked us. He baked us. And then we didn't hear from him ever again. It was all over after that. In one game.
I can't even dance.
You got it though. The shimmy.
Only game Jacoby Brissett won, I think.
Yeah, right. Him and Marvin.
Yep.
And going away.
Yeah.
Going away. That was ugly.
All right.
Did we talk about everybody?
Yeah.
Pretty much. I think so.
Tyrus Wheat.
We didn't talk about Tyrus Wheat.
Jalen Tolbert leaving.
He's in Miami.
Wanye Thomas.
Colts.
Jalen left, huh? Jalen's gone.
Yep. Miami.
God bless him.
God bless him.
All right. I think that takes care of it. So we'll see what changes are in store this week. I think there's more on the horizon, and we will talk. Oh, who you got?
They better hurry up.
Who you got winning the national championship?
I got Houston.
Houston.
That's a good one. I like Houston.
You like Houston? You like Houston?
Yeah.
I like Samson. Yeah.
Wow, we got 3 Houston.
No, I'm just saying.
Who you got?
I like Missouri.
Purdue, Michigan.
You know what? Did you watch the
Duke?
And I know we're out of time.
Somebody was going to say
Supreme.
Duke. I thought somebody was going to say Duke.
Did you see Arizona, Iowa State on Friday night? Wow. If that's a Final Four game, it would be one of the greatest Final Four. It was a Big 12 semifinal. The last 4 minutes of that game, I went back. I was going, and my wife and I were watching. We were going, wow. I mean, just one basket after another. The last 4 minutes of that game, those two teams combined to go 11 out of 13 from the field, 7 for 7 on threes. And so I immediately have Arizona and Iowa State as two of my Final Four teams playing each other in the semifinal, and I got Florida repeating.
And he went on the air saying that.
Yeah, that's right. All right, that does it. So that's who you will not win, will not make it to the Final Four.
All right.
All right, we'll talk at you again Monday at 11 a.m. on Mix Shots, brought to you by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!